30-year pattern for the first new moon of the year. So what I did here, I wanted to take a look at the pattern since 2003 all the way to 2032. I know that that's still 8-9 years away, um, but I just wanted to see, was there a certain pattern that we could find looking back through this history, and also, are we going to see in the near future? It looks like we're going to see in the near future where that pattern is starting to uh, lose its pattern from the previous years and such. So, anyway, I believe this is going to help a lot of folks here. Anyway, so let's get started. Okay, so 2003 here. I went to timeanddate.com here and got the full moon. So this lists all the full moons for 2003. So as you can see there, there's 12 of them. Anytime that on this in this little video, I'm going to put a blue mark around the 2 months that have what they call a blue moon in them. So anyway, so there's just 12 here. And then we look, I've got Spica highlighted on each one of these slides. And then I've got we've got the moon here, and then we got the sun basically at just appearing at the horizon. So anyway, so this April the 16th here, because it happened at 2:35 in the afternoon, which would mean that would probably carry over to that before that moon actually started waning. And that's another standard I stayed with. I went for that. The standard on this is the moon had to be past its 180-degree mark, which would mean it would start waning back to a dark moon. So all the standards here that I used was timeanddate.com, stellarium.org here, and then also I wanted to make sure the moons were into their waning stages here, or past that 180-degree mark on stellarium here. So here we got April 17th, 2003. So you've got Spica below the horizon, you got the moon still above the horizon. So I've got here a sign for an upcoming 12-month year. Okay. Now, 2004, we had a full moon. We actually had a blue moon happen in July, which July had 2 full moons in it. So I'm showing April the 5th here as the full moon as 100% here at 602. And then we've got over here, we got April 5th, 2004 at 701 at the start of the day. And if you see here, you've got Abib here and the moon here. Now, what I would like to state here, what I've noticed this pattern is that the star Abib is going to be within close vicinity of the moon. And if you took this date and put in my same parameters that I have here, when I went through the day, through the process, through the day, that Abib actually passes the moon, catches up with the moon and passes it before it would appear on the horizon from the east. So that's another standard that I used. I didn't just, I had to look at within 24 hours in the world would Abib get into position there. So anytime I saw a 13-month year, I always saw at least this, that you had a full moon here, you had the moon waning, and you had Abib above what would be your apparent horizon. 2005, we've got full moon, all just 12 months this year. No blue moons. And then April 24th at 5:06. So if we go over here, we got April 24th, 2005 at the appearance of the sun here. We've got the moon waning here. Basically, that's very low on the horizon. Chances are you would not see that with your eyes. Just again, guys, due to the angular resolution of your eyes, the atmosphere, the terrain between you and the moon has a lot to say with when your moon disappears. But this is the apparent horizon, and again, you can see here I've got a bead marked, and it's below the horizon. So those seem to be, anytime a bead is below the horizon, those always, the pattern shows it was a 12-month year. In 2006, we've got a full moon on April 13th. Again, we have no blue moons. We just have 12 full moons in 2006. We got, because this started at 1140, we didn't actually get our confirmation for a new moon until the next Gregorian Beast Day of April the 14th, 2006. So at the appearance of the sun, you can see here, if you notice, it's real close, a bead here. But I'm going to tell you something right now. If anybody goes out and tries to visualize a bead at this time of morning, you're not going to see a bead. In fact, on Stellarium, the reason I highlighted it is because you would not even see a bead there with the atmosphere added in to the visual. So if you went back an hour here to 5:50, yeah, there's a possibility you'd see a bead at that time. But it is ahead of the moon in its circuit, as you know, they travel in this. Well, it looks like they travel in this way. They're going across our flat horizon like this, but just due to the perspective of our eyes, they're at the same level as they always are. It's just anyway, we've got, you know, a lot of factors that make it look like they go over our horizon, but they never go over the horizon. It's just perspective. But anyway, this was the moon is waning. It's past its 180-degree mark, and we have the star bead below the horizon. Our next one is 2007. We actually have a blue moon in May here, so got that identified here. That would be a sign for an upcoming 13-month. We got April 2nd at 12:15 because it happens on up in the day after the sun had appeared. Usually that takes you to the next day, and so again we got April the 3rd, 2007 at the appearance of the sun here, and we got the moon and a bead here right together. And again, if you cycled through another 12 hours, you would see that a bead would pass the moon. So when it says the month of Abib or the new moon of Abib, we got to understand there's a 24-hour cycle for everybody's beginning of their months, and also their beginnings of the year. So depending on where that full moon is, when it goes full, and it's different from each location around the earth. So this is from my location here in Cooterville. But again, I played each one of these through. Whenever I saw a bead like this, I played them through, and before it got over here to appear again, it was in front of the moon by that time. So again, because of the blue moon, it's a great sign for a 13-month year. Now we got here in 2008, we got the beast date of April 20th at 5:25, but due to the moon not going over 180%, it was still waxing here actually, and it was above the horizon, but it was still waxing, and it was it was over 180 degrees away from the sun. So the sun caught up with it the next day on the 21st as far as passing that. Again, that video I did the 6 o'clock mark. So I think because of the celestial calendar rotating around our heads, not going around a globe, but rotating around a flat surface, almost like a flat face clock. We got to look at that as when these lights line up to 180 degrees or or less, to get kind of like at 6 o'clock timing. But again, we got sign here for 12-month year. We got a sign here. The moon is already waning here, and then we got to be below our apparent horizon. So a 12-month sign there. Now in 2009, we've got a 13-month appearance. Looks like it's appearing a 13th month. We've got the date of April the 9th at 9:55. That's past the time where the sun appeared. So the sun appeared the next day at 6:55, which the moon at that time was waning. And then look here, again, you would not see this. You probably wouldn't even see the moon where I'm located. If you live on an island where you can see you've got just flat water to look at, then you might be seeing this, depending on the atmosphere, the humidity in there and such. But you would not see Speak. In fact, Stellarium, you would. That's the reason, again, I wanted to show where Abib was. But again, because Abib is here on this horizon, and this blue moon, it's a sign for a 13th month. Now, I want you to know, we're going to see here in the near next few slides, you're going to see that Abib can look like it's right there on the horizon, and still just be a 12-month. So it looks like there's some years that this actually happens a couple times in a row, where it almost looks like it's showing a sign for 13 months in a row, which we know that's not going to happen. 2010, we got the beast date of April the 8th at 7:18. Again, because the sun appeared at 6:12, we kicked to the next day. That gives us a moon in waning stage here, past that, or within 180 degrees of the sun. And then we've got the star Abib below the horizon. Again, a sign for an upcoming 12-month year. 2011, we got the beast date of April the 17th at 21:44. Again, that's going to make us flip to the next day because the sun appears at that time at 6:46. Apparently. And then the beast date of April 18th, we got the moon waning here. It looks like it's below the horizon, but it's actually in waning stage there in 2011. And then you got the Abib was ahead of it through the night. So again, the sign for Abib is just going to be that Abib ahead of the moon by a few degrees, or just behind the moon by a few degrees as it begins its journey through the night, but either passes it up through that night or within 12 hours into the next beginning of the night. So anyway, but this is a 12-month year. I went forward with all of these and confirmed that, or went backwards. I confirmed that Abib started ahead of the moon here. And don't take my word for it. Just go get your own location. Go find your own timeanddate.com on these years and put it in your stellarium for your location, and go from there. This is April the 6th at 2:18 in the afternoon. So of course the sun had already appeared. So that means we would go to the beast date of April the 7th. We got 2 full moons in August, so we got a blue moon there. That's a sign for a 13-month year, and plus we got the sign of Abib with the moon and above the horizon here. So the moon's waning and Abib is with the moon there. 2013, we got the beast date of April the 25th, and that would mean at this time 2:57. This is military time, so 2:57 p.m. That's past the time the sun would have appeared. So we've got April the 26th here. We got the moon waning, or the sun within 180 degrees of the moon at that time, which means that would make the moon wane. And then we've got the star B below so we've got a sign here of a 12-month year. 2014, we got the beast date of April the 15th at 2:42, just after the middle of the night. So that looks like we would still be on the beast date of April the 15th here when the sun appears. We got the sun here at the apparent horizon. We got the moon here waning, or the sun within 180 degrees of it at that time. And then we got the star Beeb or Spica below the horizon. So again, that's a sign, no blue moon, and Beeb below the horizon. It's a sign for a 12-month. 2015, we got April the beast date of April the 4th. We got the full moon basically at its height at 7:05 a.m. But again, we got the sun appearing in my apparent horizon on stellarium at 7:02. So that takes us into the next day because the moon went full after this, or went to its peak, supposedly, if we take the data from NASA. Then we got April, the beast date of April the 5th. And again, we got the moon waning here. Always assured that the moon was in its waning stage, or the sun was within that 180 degrees of catching up with it. And then we got the star Beeb above the horizon. So we got this and this showing a 13th month. So that confirms a 13-month year for 2015. 2016, we got the beast date of April the 22nd. Again, just after the middle of their night. So that means we are more than likely April 22nd, as you can see here through the signs. We got the sun appearing here. We got a 12-month sign over here, and we got a 12-month sign here. We got the moon waning here, but the Beeb had already disappeared. So a sign for an upcoming month in 2006. 2017, we got the beast date of April the 11th, just an hour after their midnight. So that means more than likely we'll be on the same date because this happened before the sun appeared. So April the 11th, and the apparent appearance of the sun. You can see here, this is real close here. So if we look real close here, it's like 0.25 degrees. So it's like a quarter of a degree above the apparent horizon here. So again, that would be something that you could not see. But what I did here, I played this forward through the our day would have been, or my day here, and through the night, because again, Yahuwah's clock is on. Everybody's within 24 hours of beginning there. So because of that, I always played it forward, or basically, I take that back. I played it backwards and confirmed here that the moon didn't get passed up by Spica this particular night. And there is a couple in here. Again, this is something you can take the data that I'm giving here and go to your area and do the same thing. And but one or two of them, I believe, did go back, and I just didn't feel a need to show you that. But again, this would kind of look like a sign for a 13th month. So if I remember right, I believe this actually Beeb did pass. But I want to show you the next month to confirm that sometimes we can look at what a Beeb does through the night, and again, this is something that has changed my look at it, because after looking at a 30-year pattern here, there are some years where the Abib has passed, and it seemed to be a 13th month coming up. But if you'll look at the data on this next one. So yeah, 2017 definitely. This Abib actually did pass the moon, but I want to show you something that I think is the reason why. Let's look at this next year here. So again, I said this was a sign for an upcoming year, but I had preview at the next year. So when I looked at the next year, I got the date. As you can see here, there was a blue moon. Now I didn't highlight around this because this beast date of March 1st would be from the previous year. So if we went back on the slide to the previous slide, which I don't know how to do, but anyway, if we went back, we would see that that slide was showing 9 full moons after the equinox. So this is why I moved this blue highlight around March 31st and April 29th. So March 31st was a sign for a 13-month year. Abib definitely did pass it through the night. So where Abib was previous, where it was like plus 0.25 degrees above our apparent horizon, which is something that you would not see with your own eyes, it did actually pass the moon through the night. But you can see here on this date in 2018 that because this March 31st was 7:36, which was after the sun appeared on March 31st. So you would go to your next day, you would get the moon into waning with sun within 180 degrees of it, and you can see here Abib is above the horizon. So again, whenever you have, I think the reason for the deal is because the previous year happened so close. This blue moon was so close between years that it actually split the years. So I think that's why you had a sign for a 13th month based on Abib passing the moon previously, but not with timeanddate.com's. We only had 12 full moons in between that year and this year. But this one, because it was right here when our year begins, I believe that's why you saw that sign. But as you can see, this next year, Abib was substantially higher. We're looking at +5. So yeah, we're 5 degrees above what that other one was at. And such. So I think that's why we're showing what we're showing from the previous year of 2017. Please comment and let me know what your thoughts are on that. But I believe that's why it did that. It's because your blue moon happened in March, which is right before the beginning of our year. But because this one happened on March 31st, which is basically became the full moon for the beginning of the year right here, it was the sign for a 13-month year. I think that's why it did that. So. All right, 2019, we got the beast date of April 19th at 6:12 here, which is real close. It's showing the moon went totally 100%, but the moon was still waxing at the appearance of the sun the day before. So I jumped it forward to the April the 20th, and I got this, and as you can see, Abib's below the horizon. So right here and here, here and here are signs for, so we got 2 witnesses that we can look at. Again, we're using devices that are based off of data from NASA, but you know, sometimes we can use what are evil thing from evil people, use their things against them, just like, you know, sometimes we can use social media against them. So anyway, I digress. So 2019, we got April 19th here. I kicked it forward to April the 20th here. Again, Abib's there. the moon is there waning, so a sign for a 12-month year. We got 2020. We got a sign for a 13-month year here. We got Abib still above the horizon. Again, that's another sign for a 13-month year. We got the beast date of April the 7th because they didn't say it went full until 9:35 and that later in that day into the night. So we kicked it over to April the 8th here. We got the moon waning already, the sun within 180 degrees of it, which makes it start to wane in our vision. And there you go. There's 2020. All right, we got 2021. We're getting closer to where we're at in our own time now. We got the beast date April 26th. We got no blue moons here, so we got a beeb underneath the horizon at the waning of the moon, because we had to jump it again because this was up at that would be 10:31 in the at night. We jumped it forward to the 27th before we got our moon waning here. So the moon's waning and beeb's well below the horizon. So both here and here are signs for a 12-month year. Okay, our last year on the beast year of 2022, we got April the 16th at 13:55. Again, that's well after the sun had appeared, so they're saying the moon went totally 100% or centered. I think that's the center of its 100% light at that time. So we got April 16th. We got April the 7th. Jumped it to April the 17th here at the apparent appearance of the sun. Again, we've got the Abib. The moon's waning here, so the sun's within 180 degrees, and we got the star Abib below the horizon. So this is a 12-month sign. This is a 12-month sign because there's no blue moons. All right, we got this year coming up. We got 2023, we got a full moon happening on April the 5th at 11:34 at night. So that would be well after the sun had appeared earlier that day. So we're going to jump it forward here to the beast date of April the 6th at the apparent, my apparent view of the sun appearance here. We've got a 13-month sign here, or witness. We got a 13-month witness here. We've got a beeb with the moon. Again, I carried it because it's just a couple of degrees off from the moon here. I carried it through to this point, and a beeb actually passes the moon. So within that 24 hours of Yah's beautiful days that he puts for us, it happens within that 12-hour period. So both these are signs for a 13-month year. So 2023 for my family here in Cooterville, we're going to keep April the 26th. Or I'm sorry, April the 6th. All right, for next year, and I want y'all to start these next few years, this next, I believe 9 years that are left here on these slides. I want y'all to just look at the changes. Even when the moon is waning, I want you to look at the change. And this is something I saw back a few years ago, that I saw that the celestial was getting out of sync. And again, that's why I did the video of why I believe in the days of Hezekiah, when only the sun was moved back, not the moon and the stars, it played a key in lengthening the days back then from a 360-day calendar that all ancient civilizations kept, and then went to adding 5 days to the calendar after the early 8th century BC. So just pay attention to these next few slides, and you'll see here we got April 23rd on up into the day. This is at 6:48 in the evening, or late in the day, or early in the night. But anyway, we had to jump it to the next beast day of April the 24th. I got the sun appearing on my apparent horizon here. We got a 12-month sign here, no blue moons, and we got a B below the horizon. So another sign for a 12-month year. And the moon is waning, so the sun is within 180 degrees of catching up with the moon. 2025, we got the beast date of April the 12th. Again, we've got later in the day at 7:22 p.m. So we jump to the next beast date of April the 13th at the appearance of the sun. We can see here that this Abib is showing below the horizon. So if we go up here and look at the altitude, we got negative. So this would be a sign because it's below the apparent horizon, and the moon is waning at that time. So you can see where it is on the horizon, but it's already in waning stage. So that means the sun's within 180 degrees of it at that time. So those would be both. These would be this date. I'm going to show y'all at the end here. This date is a sign for a 12-month year. And again, this is changing. I believe we're going to see changes over the next few years, where it's going to look different than it did the previous years. All right, 2026, we got a full moon on April the 1st here at 9:11, so well up into the day. So that would mean we would jump it to April the 2nd before we see the sun appearing here. We've got a 13-month sign here with a blue moon happening in May of that year. We got the moon waning. Now, the moon is actually waning here, and Abib is above the horizon. And guess what? If I play this through and I run Abib through its circuit to when the next night begins, it actually passes up the moon. So again, I don't think we can go just based on the pattern I'm showing here. We can't go based on Abib just being a couple, 2 or 3 or 4 degrees away from the moon in its circuit. I don't believe we can go there with that. So anyway, but this to me, and if we look at the next year, you'll see, and also look at these dates. Look at this early date, or right here, April the 2nd, this early date. That's a sign for a 13-month year, and I'll show you that here in the last slide is going to show you that. Okay, we got 2027. We got 12 months here. So we got April 20th at 17:27. Again at 5:27 p.m. That's well after the sun had appeared and the supposed moon had went, or the moon had supposedly went at 100% peak. So we have April 20th, so that jump is to the beast date of April 21st. Again, at the sun's appearance here in the east, we got the moon again. It looks like it's below or at the horizon or below the horizon, but it's waning at this point in time. Again, just something we haven't really seen in the pattern previous to this, but this is 2027. So this is basically about 2,000 years after the Messiah appeared to begin his ministry. But we got Abib here. So Abib, we have no blue moon, and we have Abib below the horizon, so a sign for an upcoming 12-month year. 2028, we've got a sign for a blue moon in December, so that's a sign for a upcoming 13-month year. We got April 9th here at 5:26, so that's before the sun appears here. Again, this is wacky. This is 2028, and this is something I saw several years back that just looked like the celestial clock was getting out of its pattern that we have been used to. Now, if we look back 2,000 years, we will see that pattern has definitely changed over 2,000 years. And if we look forward 2,000 years, you're going to see that pattern's going to change over the next 2,000 years. But within this 30-year period, I think we're seeing in this 30-year period, we're seeing this change happen in these last few years. So Look, guys, the sun is appearing on the apparent horizon, but look where the moon is. The moon is below their apparent horizon, but guess what? This moon is waning. The sun is within 180 degrees of catching up on it in its circuit. But look here, the Abib is above the horizon. And again, if I play this forward to the next night, so this is the start of our day, and then this is what Abib does through our day. It's actually ahead of the moon by the time it gets over here to this apparent horizon. So again, do this for yourselves. Don't trust me, but look at it for yourselves. But this is definitely, I'm seeing a pattern here when Abib is above the horizon at the appearance of the sun after after a full moon occurs. So we got a waning moon here, meaning the full moon had occurred, and then we got the Abib still above the horizon. So 2 witnesses for a 13-month year. 2029. This, I mean, again, we're looking at this moon. This is April 29th, or I'm sorry, the beast date of April 28th at 5:36, where the moon goes its peak. It's showing here in Stellarium that it's already waning at this point in time at 6:34. So on that same beast date. So, and we got a sign here for 12 months here with no blue moons and a B below the horizon here. But this moon, look at it. Look at it on the apparent. It's waning. It's already waning. So that's something that's totally looked different from our previous, 20 some odd years versus these last few years that I'm showing here. The pattern, the pattern, like, or what we visually see, that pattern is changing. But these dates are not necessarily changing at this time, but the data, the what we're able to see with the data is really not changing, but what we're going to be able to see if we make it to 2029, will we be able to see that? I'm at an age, I don't know if I'll make it to 2029, but anyway, but that moon, go look this at yourselves for your own area and put these dates in, and you'll see that moon's already waning right here. It's already waning. Okay, 2030, we got April 17th at 22:19. Again, this date's going to be assigned for a 12-month year. There's no blue moons happening in 2030 because the moon didn't officially go 100% until 10:19 p.m. We go to the next day, beast date of April 18th at the appearance of the sun. We got the moon waning here at the horizon, and we got a B below the horizon. So again, B below the horizon, no blue moon. That's a sign that's 2 witnesses for a 12-month. 2031, we got a sign for a 13-month year. We got a B above the horizon here. That's another sign for a 13-month year that I've seen in this pattern. April 7th, that's another sign. That starting that early in April is a sign for a 13-month year. So we look here, we come back, because it started after the sun appearance, we got to the April 8th. Again, April the 8th, there, sun appears. We got the moon waning here. And we got the star beam still above the horizon. So 2 witnesses for, well, actually 3. So if you want to count the blue moon for a witness, which is something that we can't physically go forward and see, we can just look at it through data, through NASA. But this is something that we could physically know. We physically know April 7th is early in April. So I think you'll see there's a pattern that whenever a full moon happens this part of April, it's a sign for a 13-month year. And then a Abib here. So 3 witnesses. This, and this is 3 witnesses in 2031. And for those that look at history. It looks like the Messiah, to me, just all the data I've looked at looks like he died in 2030 and resurrected in 2030. This is 2031, so this is 2,000 years, over 2,000 years past that. 2032 here, we can jump all the way back up to April the 25th here at 10:09. So it looks like we'll jump to the next day. Sure enough, here we go. The beast date of April the 26th. Appearance of the sun. The moon is waning at that time, meaning the sun is within. Now this looks normal, like it's kicked back, but that 2027, 28 definitely look different to me on the celestial clock. But no, this is a sign for a 12-month year because it starts way up here in April. No blue moon showing here, and Abib well below the horizon. Okay. Now here's these dates. So I wanted to show you just on the dates of when the full moon happens. They're signs for 13-month 13-month years. So anytime, just based on the pattern I looked at over this 30-year period, that you can see here from April, 1st of April is the earliest one of them began, and the 10th of April is the latest. But if you notice, there's no 10th of April over here. All these are above the 10th. So here's April the 11th. Okay, so we got as high as April the 21st, but we don't have April the 22nd. So these dates seem to say, or when the full moon happened in these dates, it showed that this was a 12-month year before a 13-month year. So anytime the full moon happened in these times, go back and look at the video or go look at this for yourselves and do your own research. But you will see that all these dates are the 12 months before a 13-month year. Then if you want to get 2 years before a 13-month year, all your full moons would happen. Again, you got 21 of April here. We don't have anything 21 here. It just starts at 22. So it's a perfect pattern to show that we can tell by even the beast date. We can tell when our new year is going to begin. So we've got all the way from the 22nd here to the latest one was 29th of April. So these would be anytime a full moon happened in these April dates over this last 30 years showed that this was a beginning of a year before a 12-month year, and also 2 years before a 13-month year. And then any of these that happened here meant they were a 12-month year, but also that the next year would be a 13-month year. So it's a definitely different pattern. Oh, I forgot I had this down here. April 1st through the 10th showed a 13-month sign. April 11th through the 21st as a 12-month sign date. And you look here at April 22nd to 29th, we got 12-month sign date. And the reason there's less here over that 30-year period is because there are some 13-month years within 2 years of each other. So that's why we don't always have a 13-month year every 3 years. Sometimes it happens in 2 years. So there's your pattern. It's a lot of evidence. Feel free to critique. Give me a thumbs up, thumbs down. If you give me a thumbs down, please give me a comment of why you give me a thumbs down, because I see a thumbs down sometimes. Speak, let it be known what you feel. Again, I believe this is going to be of value to many of y'all that watch this all the way through. So anyway, have a blessed day, and let's praise Yahuwah. Hallelujah.